video is going to be us testing out the Fenty Beauty Foundation. We obviously don't have the foundation and we didn't buy it, that's why we're not showing you the bottle. Yeah, so we got samples from Sephora. I would really recommend, if you don't want to spend the money on buying a foundation,
get
go to Sephora, ask them for samples, and they're going to give it to you. Or if you're like us, you just take the little containers. These little they're not looking. Take the containers. They have them usually where they do people's makeup. Yeah. Take them and just squirt it in yourself, because like me, the sample that I got barely has anything. So they were very stingy with my sample. Her sample has a little bit more, but so I have really, really dry skin.
And I have really, really oily skin. It's pretty much the two sides of the spectrum. She's super dry like the Sahara Desert, and me, you could fry an egg on my face, literally.
So we're gonna test it out, see what it's gonna look like. For me, I did not use any primer. I didn't use setting spray. I didn't set my face with powder, just so that you can see how it looks.
Yes, it's just dry skin. Yeah. She's pretty much doing like regularly, like if she were to wear like a dewy foundation. And me, I primed my face, I baked my face, I set my face. I pretty much did everything that a person with oily skin would do to their foundation.
So keep watching.
Keep watching.
So I'm gonna go first, just so you guys can see the application. So I'm just gonna put it on my face and see what happens. I don't know if you have to work quickly with this or not, so I'm just gonna try a little. This girl was so stingy trying to give me this foundation. I can't even get it out of this little bottle. Hold on. It looks very yellow. So I will say it looks kind of different, the color on the camera, than it does in person. I mean, it matches me pretty well, but I am going to say it's clinging onto my dry patches. So it's not a good sign. So I will say I'm having kind of a hard time blending this out. Like, it's really setting really fast, and it's like very, very, very dry. So this is one layer of it. Like, I touch my face and it's like almost already dry completely. As you can see, it's like a medium coverage, because you can still see a lot of my stuff peeking through, and it looks very yellow right now on camera, but in person it doesn't look that yellow. In person it actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to do another layer to see if you can build it, or to see if it gets even more cakey than it already is. Okay, so now I put 2 layers on this side, and as you can see, I mean, to me, full coverage is not being able to see my freckles. So I don't think that this is full coverage, you know, with 2 applications. I mean, it is, you know, it has coverage, but it's not really full coverage. I feel like I would still need to go in with concealer to kind of conceal some stuff. But this is like the difference from this side. That's 1 layer. You can still see a lot of my stuff peeking through, and then this is with the 2nd layer. As far as like cakiness, I mean, it's sitting pretty good. My face looks, you know, it looks smooth, but you can definitely see where I have kind of like some dryness. It sets pretty quickly, so you have to move fast. I'm just going to do the rest of my face, and then I'll show you what it looks like.
Well, I finished priming my face with the Dr. Brandt Pores No More, and now I'm going to apply the Fenty foundation. I have the shade 290, which is for medium to tan skin with olive undertones. So let's see. I'm going to apply with a brush first, because supposedly it applies better with a brush, and if I see if it looks too cakey or anything like that, then I'll switch over to a sponge. So I'm just going to apply the foundation onto my face. I'm applying to half of my face. Let's see. It's really watery. far I really like how it looks on my skin. And especially with this brush, this Morphe M439 brush, I really like it. But I'm going to try it on the other side of my face to see, with the sponge, to see if the coverage is different and if it applies better. But so far I really like it with the brush. I hope the color doesn't look too off on camera, because in person it looks really good. It matches my arm really, really good. Now I'm going to apply it to this side of my face with a sponge, but look at the coverage. I really like how it looks on my skin. You can see all the redness. I have redness right here, my acne scars. My forehead's pretty good, but I have a lot of marks right here. So let's see if with the sponge it does anything. It's really watery. Get my sponge, beauty blender. It's pretty good. It's pretty really nice. I feel like it blends faster with the sponge for some reason. Maybe since the sponge is moist, so the part doesn't dry down as fast, but I like it. So this is the first layer with the sponge. You could kind of see a little bit still, like my acne marks peeking through. But my forehead. The brush side though, a little bit, it does look a little bit cakey, but it looks pretty good. I'm gonna try building it up now with the sponge. Okay, so I finished blending out my foundation. This is the sponge side and this is the brush side. I'm gonna finish applying the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished doing the rest of my makeup and it definitely does get a little darker. I mean, it started off lighter than this, but like it doesn't look bad. It looks good with my skin tone. It's picking up a little more orange on camera than it is in real life. After doing the rest of my makeup, I mean, obviously I have highlighter on, so it looks more dewy, but it is dry. I feel like it doesn't really dry completely. It stays kind of tacky. At least for me, it still feels tacky. I didn't set it with powder or anything like that. This is my bronzer and blush blended straight on, and it does blend out product. I mean, you have to kind of work it in, but it doesn't blend it out bad. So I mean, my skin looks pretty even. It looks you know, you can't really see the texture that much, but I will say where I have dry patches, like I'm very dry in between my eyebrows, you can see the texture and you can see it clinging onto those dry patches. I feel like maybe with a beauty blender it would help a little bit more, kind of really sink that into the skin. I tried it with a brush just because I wanted to get full coverage. Like you can see in my chin, you could still kind of see some dark spots peeking through, and my freckles, you can see them a little bit, but it is pretty, you know, pretty high coverage if you do put on multiple layers. So for someone with really dry skin, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you really moisturize very well underneath it. Add some kind of beauty oil underneath it, maybe that would help, and then also do a beauty blender. I would say with the first application it is kind of lighter coverage, and then when you put on that second layer it is more high coverage, but I wouldn't say it's completely full coverage with someone like me that has you know, a lot of those freckles, those dark spots. I feel like it's not really high coverage like some people claim to say, but I mean, these people probably have, you know, they do have great skin, so for them of course it's going to be full coverage. So really take into consideration that, what kind of skin type you have, what kind of, you know, coverage you're looking for in terms of your acne or freckles or anything like that. I'm going to wear it out to see how it looks after a couple hours, to see if anything changes, if anything moves, if it gets darker, and then I'll check it out. So I finished putting on the rest of my makeup. On this side I did the brush application, and this side I did the sponge. I will say I kind of like the brush side more just because I have fuller coverage, but as you can see my acne marks, my pigmentation right here as well. But I feel like on my nose though, you can see my pores more due to the brush than on the beauty blender side. My forehead looks pretty good. Right here it's kind of settling on my like chin line since I have a bigger chin, but I have highlight on. But I didn't put any setting spray or anything like that. I did bake my face and I powdered my face because I have to since I have oily skin. But overall, I like how the foundation looks. It feels really soft on my skin. So let's see how it wears, and I'll get back to you and I'll update you to see how the foundation looks by the end of the day.
Okay, so it's been 7 hours since we first put on the foundation. So I have to say that as the time goes by, for drier skin, I feel like it's better to get away with it. Just at first it's really dry, but afterwards it starts kind of settling in, and it starts melting into your skin a little bit more. I do see some creasing, if you can see there. My eyes, and it's starting to break up. Like on my chin, you could see like my dark spots are coming through. It's not horrible. It looks pretty smooth. So, I mean, just initial thoughts. Just initially, it's really dry and it clings onto dry patches, so it might not be a favorite for people with dry skin. People with more normal skin can kind of enjoy it. Okay, so for me as well, it's been 7 hours since we applied it. I look really oily. Like, I feel like the camera doesn't even show how oily I look. That's highlight, by the way. This is highlight. I don't highlight anywhere else since I'm super oily, but I feel like it hasn't really broken up that much, but I feel like it's starting to cake up a little bit here where I'm really oily. But I look kind of orange, but it's the lighting, because in person I look normal. But overall, I mean, yeah, I'm oily, but I feel like if I were to blot and just powder again, it would look pretty normal. But I actually really like the foundation. It looks really smooth in person, and I just feel like I'd have to use a more mattifying primer if anything with this foundation. But yeah, I really like it for oily skin at least.